All right. Well, hey, sis. My name's Jerry
Hello.
Hunn.
Hi.
Hi, and great to meet you over Zoom. And thank you for taking
Yes,
time out to talk
of
today.
course.
Yeah. So go over your pronouns are she and
She,
her, right?
her.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And is sis your full name? Is that what's your full
Yes.
name? Okay. Okay, just go by sis.
Mm-hmm.
I want to make sure. And not all capitals, just SIS, right?
SIS. Mm-hmm.
Got it. Okay. Tell me originally where you're from and all that.
Yeah, I'm from Houston, Texas, born and raised. And then I went to college at Sam Houston State University and then moved to New York right after that. So, yeah.
Okay. Did you always want to be in performing arts and theater and things?
For the most part, yeah. When I was younger, I really liked Barney and Friends. So that really got me into like, oh, singing, dancing, performing. And so I really liked that. And I really liked the entertaining aspect. So I really enjoyed performing from a young age. And then when I started seeing TV shows on Disney Channel and things like that, I was like, oh, I really want to do that. And it wasn't really a possibility, I guess, for me to necessarily be on TV. But so theater was like the second best thing. So that's when I started doing theater in middle school and high school and things like that.
Great. Well, it's paid off. I mean, now you're on tour.
Yeah, majorly.
Yeah. Did you ever have to come out as trans for your career, or was it just all were you always out?
Not really. I mean, I don't really think I came out per se. I don't really think that is a part of personally my journey. I don't think that was really necessary for me. I've always just been my transness or my queerness, like doesn't really, I don't really utilize it as labels. I really am just exist as me on this day. You know, I could be a different person tomorrow. I could be a different person the day before that. So I don't really think coming out per se was necessary. And I always lead with just my full self. And I think that's why the opportunities that I've curated for myself have been so honest and real because I'm just me. And so it's like either you want me or you don't, not necessarily you want my trans, so you want my blackness, so you want this part of me or that, you know.
Oh, I got it. Thank you for explaining that. So what is your favorite musical? Do you have a favorite?
I would say I really enjoy, what's on the tip of my tongue is like, I really enjoy The Wiz, and I really enjoy the music of The Wiz and the story of The Wiz. So let's say The Wiz.
Yes, that's a good one. That's no
but not on the record as my favorite musical. Just that's the musical that came to mind today.
Okay, got it. I saw you went to see Six. Did you love Six? Like I did?
Yes, I love Six. I love Toby Marlowe, and I love Lucy, and I love every performer in the show, and I really enjoy the show. I think it's a very smart show. I think it's a very entertaining show, and I think it is one of the most perfect. I think it is the most perfect musical of our time. For what I can say, where musical theater I think it should go and where it needs to go, I think that it is exactly, if someone were to say what musical should I see in 2022, I'd say go see Six.
I like it. What led you to Oklahoma?
Auditioning. I did Oklahoma in college. It's really funny. So I did Oklahoma in college. The first production of Oklahoma I ever saw was a high school production in LaPorte, Texas, production of it. And I loved it. I was like, oh my God, this is so good. When you think of Oklahoma, you think, oh, white people moving around doing stuff. And so I was like, oh, dang. But then I saw it and I really enjoyed it. I love the music. I think the music is beautiful. I had gotten to New York literally at the tail end of, well, not the tail end, but like right as this production was about to do its Broadway stint. And so it was like in the middle of it when I got to New York after I left school and stuff. So I didn't get to see it. And I'm glad I didn't now, because now I like have my own personal interpretation of this production. But yeah, I mean, I love, really Can't Say No is something that has really guided me through, I guess, college to now with the show, because this was the song that I sang at my college showcase that got me my agents. You know, this song really encapsulated, I guess, like my voice in musical theater. And so the fact that I'm, you know, going around the country singing Case I Know is just beautiful.
Yeah, that's like a personal thing for you. That's good.
Yeah.
Did you see Ali Stroker in it? Was that
No, I didn't. I didn't get to see the show. No, but I have spoken to her, and I love her, and she's amazing.
Yeah, I love Glee, so hey.
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about your character.
Ada Lanny, I mean, she's a bad bitch. I mean, what can we say? She is who we all want to be on the inside. And I think who I am. I think that Ada is, in a way, just different from the community because she is just allowing herself to question everything and allowing herself to make decisions based on how she feels. And I think a lot of the people, you know, in Oklahoma and a lot of the characters, you know, they're figuring things out. But as they figure things out, they are, you know, not necessarily allowing themselves, especially Lori, to answer it for themselves. Everybody else is kind of taking the reins of finding the answers for characters. And if like Ada Lanny is like, this is what I'm going to do, and this is what I want to do. And I'll ask you this question, but I know the answer myself, and I'm going to lead with that. And I think that she is just open to what her body feels and what her heart feels. And so she leads with that. And that's what I love about her.
Great. What is different about this revival? I heard it's dark and edgy. What do you have?
I mean, sure. If you say it's that, and then, you know, that's what people want from it. But I think what it is what it does is take the text and just put it right in front of you. In most productions of Oklahoma, you know, it's like musical theater, it's glitz and glamour, and I love that about musical theater. But here we really strip all of that away, and we kind of just give you the story. So you, as a human being, much like these characters and my character, you get to take from it what you want, and you get to see it for what it is and what they wrote, you know, in 1954 or 1955, whenever it was written. You know, and it shows the parallels of today, and it shows how we exist today and how as communities exist today. And so I think that's the thing about it. And with this tour production that I really enjoy, as far as like, you know, me goes, it's like in 2022 or in 2021, we're finally getting an opportunity to see this character from a different point of view. Even with Sasha, you know, another Black woman, it's like we have, for the first time, you get to see two Black women kind of say these texts, and two Black women of very different experiences of life. And, you know, you get to see things that you've just never seen before. You get to hear things you just never heard before. And I think it's honest. Okay,
I like it. So did you learn to square dance with this production?
I'm from Texas, so I didn't, you know, I already had that in my tool belt.
Okay, got it. I was born in Oklahoma, the state, and you know, I've seen the production over the years.
Yeah.
But you know, there's all this toxic masculinity in it. There's all these different things. How is that addressed, or how is that dealt with in the show?
I mean, I think it's addressed how it's addressed. We didn't change anything, so it's all there. So whatever you feel about it, you know what I mean, and how you interpret that, it's there. And that is for you as an audience member to kind of navigate and understand and ask yourself like how you feel about it, because that's how the world was and that's how the world is. And I think that's the thing about Oklahoma and musical theater in itself. When we take these dated texts and we bring them in revival form and we put them up on Broadway, that was the world. And so whether you like it or not, that is what was written. And that was what was collected at that time and curated at that time to be, you know, in this space and in this industry. So I think that it is what it is. And you make a decision as an audience member and as a person of the community of life that we all live in America, to make a choice and take what you learn from this and apply it in your life, you know? So yeah.
That's great. That made me start thinking about like casting agents, and maybe they need to be casting a wide variety of people, and what like they don't necessarily have to change the text or change things. If they're casting with a wide range of people, you feel more inclusive automatically, just having people, so I wonder what it's going to take, or maybe this will spurn more ideas of people doing that. I really hope.
Yeah, I mean, I think that my work that I do with my many organizations and my platform and the things I talk about, and it takes just more people of varied experiences getting a chance up to bat. I think for so long we were and we are still in a white-centered America and a white supremacist view of America. And that is the issue, and that is the problem. And so when more people like me and more people who are in these spaces that are more so like radicalized, or even people that have an experience that is not just similar to everybody else in the room, you can bring a different voice to the text. So it's kind of like, in Daniel's way, he brought a different idea and perception to this text. And that's what all the people that he casts are doing, And so for me, like, I'm saying these lines probably different than any other person before me, because the people before me were cis white women, you know what I mean? And now you have a Black trans woman and a human being who is, in a world that is against her and against me. And so now, with Ado Annie, there is a revolution that I have, and a rebellion that I have to musical theater, and a rebellion that I have to the text, and a rebellion that I have to all of these things that I am told that I am supposed to be, or I am told that it is, but I live in a completely different world than that. You know what I mean? And I'm showcasing that around America. And so I think that's the part that people are going to and have to pick up on. And I think also it just goes to show, it's just like, we need to get more creative in the creative industry, because if I am not interested, as a person who studied this craft, who, supports this craft and supports this art. I'm not interested in what cis white people do all the time. We don't, that is the narrative that we've had for years and years and years, for the past 70 years. You know what I mean? If this was written in the 50s and I'm just now playing this role in 2020, you know what I mean? It's like, we need something else. And so I think that people will start to realize that once, people like me get more agency in the world, it'll change.
Great. Yeah. Did you have any thoughts on the Jagged Little Pill controversy? Anything about?
I mean, I think that I'm trying to think, like, what did I have? Like, me personally, not really, because the world that I am trying to build and the world that I am trying to curate is a world that is void of people in charge of art and things that don't have anything to do with them. And so I think that we have to realize that everybody is going to have blind spots. People who are doing their best, maybe doing their best with the greatest of intent, but they have blind spots. And I think that is to say for every show out there right now. There are shows on Broadway right now that issues are still there, and still are still present, and even shows that have been out for a while. You know what I mean? So I think that the focus should be on people with varied experiences and people who need to tell stories that we've never seen or heard before. And so I think that that's where we should start putting our energy and putting our focus. So in terms of Jagged Little Pill and in terms of all the issues going around right now, I think that once people realize their blind spots and realize where we need to go and where we need to be headed, I think we'll see change. And I think we're starting to slowly but surely.
Great. Is there something in 2022 that could happen that would change, some transition? Is there one thing that you would love to see happen this year for the new year?
There's one thing, but I can't speak on it. I think if we begin to see more artists, and you're speaking about the industry?
Yes, yeah.
Okay, well, like, I mean, yeah, I think that if we get more artists and more people in rooms with creatives that reflect the cast and creatives that reflect the experiences of the show and the stories that we are telling, I believe we will see changes. And I believe that, I think that it's going to take a different group of people in all sides. So directing, producing, cast, auditioning, all of these things, it's going to take people with varied experiences. Because when I am one Black person walking into a room with a white director, with a white producer, with a white casting team, my experience is going to be diluted and diluted and diluted. And so by the time I get to that show and get to that stage, the performance is going to be only a sliver of who I actually am, and a forced perception of white America, and a forced perception of who they want me to be as opposed to who I am.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Talk about your experience on Pose. What was the set like, and how is it different than the last OG, or,
Yeah, I mean, I really enjoyed doing it. It was definitely a dream come true to be able to be in a space with people that I share so much in common with, and even, life, the way the world works, and being around community, and then getting to learn and grow so much as a human being in my transness and in my queerness and even in my Blackness, and getting paid for it. And, that show changed my life and changed my whole trajectory of where I was going to go and how I was going to go there. And so getting to be on that set for the ending was just immaculate. It was just a life-changing experience. And I think, because Pose was Pose during the last year, G was different, because it wasn't the same. You know what I mean? And so, I'm just getting started, and I can't wait for more people to know about me and know about what I do, and more people to tune in so that I can begin to shape those rooms. And, a lot of things I'm doing right now is my own creating and focusing on what I want to do and how I want to change the world. And I'm excited to do that.
Well, I'm excited that you're coming to Chicago. Have you been much?
Yes, my family is from Chicago. I've been to Chicago a lot. Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And talk about you have a castmate that's trans also, Hennessy Winkler. Talk about, having some representation there.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, the more we do it, the more I felt like it is so minuscule in reason. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't matter. And so the fact that so many people think it did matter to have, gender variance a part of cast is silly to me. You know what I mean? Because it's just the two people who are best for the role. And, it's beautiful that we get to represent, trans love in this way. And we get to represent, queerness in this way under the guise of this text and under the guise of these words that, people were speaking a long time ago, and these songs that were written a long time ago. And so I think that that's the part. It's just like, we have to start being looked at as ourselves and as human beings, as opposed to what else, we are. Because when you start looking at that, your perception of what that is a blind spot because you lack knowledge. But when you look at people and you allow them to bring their full selves to the table and you take them for what they are and who they are, it's magic. And so that's what I think. I think that it's just beauty when everybody can just be themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I just think of shows I did in the South, and I was the only gay guy in the cast, and it was like, it must be nice at least to have some other people that have similar things you can talk about and stuff,
Yeah. And it's interesting. I mean, I will say and that's the thing too with, trans that's so different. It's like me and Hennessy, yes, we are two trans people, but I'm a trans woman. Hennessy is a trans man. Hennessy is a white trans man from Hawaii. I'm a Black trans woman from Houston, Texas. You know what I mean? And so, I feel like people try to conflate commonalities, especially with transness, but it's like, sure, you know what I mean? But I have more things in common with my friend Jordan in the show, and not to, slight Hennessy, but it's just like, we are yeah, we are trans, but also like I am Black. Also, I am plus size. And like there are a lot of plus size people in the show, and that's exciting. And also like I'm a great performer, and everybody on that stage is a great performer. I went to school for musical theater. A lot of people, you know what I mean? So like when we get to like that part, it's just like we have to realize how silly it is to be like, oh, you have Black hair? Oh my God, me too. Thank God we're in a show full of blonde hair bitches. You know what I mean? It's so we have to kind of understand the importance of humans. And once we understand the importance of humans and what they bring to the table, now we don't have to utilize transness as a selling point or as a diversity point, because we realize that trans people actually are great in musical theater, and trans people can transcend the story that we are telling. You know what I mean? And even my portrayal of Ado Annie today versus what it would have been, 3 or 4 years ago before I really got to understand who I was is so different. And so I'm proud of it. And I'm proud to have Hennessy, but as equal as I'm proud to have Hennessy, I'm proud to have Sasha. You know what I mean? Another Black woman playing Lori. So it's all one.
I love that. And thank you for, correcting me too. I really feel like I'm learning just even with this interview. And so, right, we can't lump people together. We need to, realize that everyone has value. And I mean, I get all that. So, but I really appreciate what you're saying. You're super smart. And I love that you're going around the country to small towns, and, Chicago will be a different audience than some small town. And who knows what doing in small towns. I mean, how many? Yeah, talk about cisgendered. That's a project that you do, right?
Yeah, so cisgendered is my 54 Below show that I did. It was sold out. It's amazing, really exciting, beautiful thing that I got to do. With the full thing is on YouTube, so if you want to watch, you can type in cisgendered. One of my close friends, Renee Rapp, produced it, and I was really blessed that she did that. And it was just a celebration of my time of my life. And finally me kind of coming to the mic as myself outside of, all of the things that I'm a part of, and kind of just showcasing me as me. And the story behind cisgendered and the title is that, just like kind of talking about in this industry, is like gender identity is just equal to a person. And so when I speak about my gender and my transness, that is very important to know me, you know what I mean? Or it is important to know, if you know that I'm trans, you must know me, because it is so specific of who I am. Just like everybody who is, a part of the LGBT community, some people's bi-ness is very different. And I'm talking about sexuality, not gender, but some people's, bi-ness is different. Some people's gayness is different. Some people's, all of the things that they are very based on who they are and how they operate. And it's the same with gender, gender fluidity, being non-binary, being trans, being all of these things vary by person. And so it was showing that my gender identity is being cis, not being trans. You know what I mean? And I'm very proud to be trans, but you must know that it encapsulates all of me. Yeah, all of me and all of the things that I am. So therefore I am cisgendered at the end of the day. And, in addition to all of the other things that I am.
Yeah. Can you do the show in Chicago sometime? Would you be?
Hey, you get some people to produce it, and I will.
Okay, great. Yeah. So it's a short run in Chicago, but I'm so excited about seeing it. I didn't know that it had been revitalized so much. So I'm so excited to see what everyone brings,
Yeah, it's gonna be a good time.
Awesome. What are you doing next? Do you have plans next, or are you just finishing out the tour?
We'll see.
Okay. Well, it has been such a treat to talk to you today. And I'll meet you at the stage door after the show. And I look so forward to seeing it in Chicago. So
yes. Well, I'm excited for you to see it.
Yay. All right, cool.